So what I'm going to do today is, we've already got a bit of a base makeup on. There's some eyebrow, there's a bit of colour. I love to show people that you can actually overtake people's makeup and actually reapply over the top rather than removing everything off. So we've got a good base, but I'm going to retouch up the foundation using the mineral powder. And I'm just going to apply some small amounts around the chin area and the cheek, because we have a little bit of pigmentation. So if we buff that into the skin, it can really make a difference into the evenness of the skin tone without making it look cakey, because it's a fine powder. And of course the kabuki brush is the best way to use that. And you should be able to see that the skin now is getting a little bit more translucent, smoother and brighter with that kabuki brush, just buffing in a circular movement around the skin. And then buffing out to the edges. So that gives a beautiful smooth finish foundation. Next is bronzer, one of my absolute favourites. Now you can use bronzer as an all-over face glow, and keeping to the same principle as we start from the centre and working out. The reason is because the centre areas of the face is where you would get natural sunlight first. The forehead, the nose, the cheekbone, sun will hit the more frontal areas. So it's best to start on them first, sweeping outwards to get more of a natural bronzer look, rather than buffing, because you might catch on foundation areas or dry spots. And that just gives a little bit of a healthier glow to the entire complexion. Rather than having a flat open brush, I change it to a flat, almost fan style brush, and I shade just underneath the cheekbone. And this just gives a really nice strong contour. So from front on, we should actually be able to see there's a difference there from more of a flatter side into quite a strong angular cheekbone there as well. And we can even add a little bit of bronzer at the temple. And by adding bronzer at the temple, it recedes that area back. It recedes here to then actually push out the frontal areas of the eye and the cheekbone. So if you shade any higher, you're actually going to collapse the cheekbone, because dark colours recede things. So by shading underneath the cheekbone like that, it really shows off such a strong area. And then same thing, just the temple. That just recedes the hairline and it recedes the forehead area. So we have much more focus then on the cheekbone and the eye, which is our focal points for the face.
And what about for your clients yourself?
Now the same bronzer, I'm using it again. See, I love multi-use. I'm just going to squinch it now to like a little square and actually apply a bit of the bronzer on the eye area, just to increase the shading that was already applied before. And it's more so that the tone is the same, so then the whole skin has a little story from the bronzer to the eyes. It has the same colour tone on the whole palette. Beautiful. So the bronzer is finished now. We've used it as an all-over glow, cutting in the cheeks and just a little bit on the eye for shape. Next is my concealer. And now that I've finished with the foundation, the base, it's time to prepare for the eye makeup. So look up to the ceiling. I'm going to add a little bit of concealer just underneath the inner part of the eye. Now, because we have more of a deep set eye here, it's very important to just really brighten the underneath area. But I very rarely put concealer around that area there, because if we smile, the concealer will fall into any expression lines. So it's more actually where a dark circle is present, or could be present, than out to this area here with the concealer. I would say the concealer is one of my favourite products to take in your handbag with you, rather than, say, a full foundation or whatnot, because you can touch up around the nose. You might wipe your nose accidentally, have a little sneeze or whatnot and get red. You can touch up around the chin, and normally around the mouth after eating to reapply lipstick is a great way to touch up throughout the night. And now just through the centre there, she looks a little bit brighter with adding the concealer on. My next step is eyeliner, because we already had neutral tones and brown tones on the eye. So I thought, let's go a plum to be something different. So if you put your head up and turn close, I'm going to follow the line that was already applied. In this case, the plum is going over the top. And with my angle brush, I start moving the plum liner into the actual eye area. Almost like a bit of an eyeshadow. And I can bring it that little bit higher as well on the outer side. And the eyeliners are so soft that they're amazing to use as a bit more of an eyeshadow. And I'm going to use that across the centre as well, make it a bit higher. And that just gives a softer, smokier look. Rather than having the one line just by itself that was there before, we can actually have a more of a smokier eye now. And this side. So the plum just gives a little bit more colour into the eye area. It almost brightens the look rather than keeping it all brown and neutral. So that was one of the things I loved about the brand as well. There was so much colour choices, not only in eyeshadows and blush, but even eyeliners, from green to blue to silver to black. And of course, it's up to you how dark you apply the eyeliner. The good thing about using it smudged like this is that you can really make the eyeliner as messy as you want. And you can still really get a nice smooth effect. And look up. And look up to the ceiling now. We'll just apply it a little bit underneath of that plum. And because we have that bluey greeny eye, the plum really makes the eye colour stand out that little bit extra as well, because it's quite a contrast. So with eye makeup, I always try and find colours that are going to be a contrast to the actual eye colour. So if I use a blue eyeliner, for example, or a green, it wouldn't really show up on this particular eye. Probably better for more of a brown eye. So try and contrast the colours. So you can see there's a little bit more definition, but to fill in the base of the eye, where the eyeball is, we use the eyeshadows. And I've chosen Mango today. So you might be able to see it's quite an orange colour. Love the pigments, but we use small amounts just on the eyeball area there. So put your head back, yep. And we just dab, very gently dab. If we flick the eyeshadow brush, some powder can sometimes fall down. So it's really nice to just press it into the base of the eyeliner that I just applied and to the eyeshadow. So instantly, where the liner joins and that gap is, it fills in the gap. It makes it a little bit more interesting and definitely brings out the colour in her eyes. Open for me. So you can see the difference that the eyeshadow makes. It just really completes the whole look. So often people put the coloured eyeshadow on first and they make it really dramatic into the socket. Try and keep it more concentrated, close for me, into the centre of the eye where I am now. Keep all your shading colours, your browns, your bronzes, your greys, your taupes as socket colours, and play up your eyeliners and keep your fun shadows and your shimmers in the middle of the eye as so. And it really just completes the look. It brings all the other colours together. Beautiful. Open. So it just changes the whole appearance of the eye. And we already had eyebrows pre-done, which is fabulous. But now I'm going to highlight, because we have to have some light onto the skin. I love highlighting. So one of my favourite products is the Illuminator Cream. It has a gold kind of bronzy tint, which is good as well. You can use it alone for a more concentrated depth of sheen, or sometimes as well the beautiful INIKA primer, just a little bit of primer mixed in with it, can also dilute it. So if you're not someone that wants shimmer everywhere, you can dilute them together. And that way your skin, just turn that way for me. If I just dab that above the cheekbone, so not interfering with the contour I just did before, but just above the cheekbone there, right down to the apple of the cheek, you might be able to see in certain lights, I'm not sure if you can see there, the beautiful glow that it gives. Definitely under the brow as well. We can even do the Cupid's bow. If your top lip is a little bit smaller than the bottom, it's great to highlight that area so it comes forward. And I'll finish with the other side again so you can see. So just light tapping. With highlighting though, we never enter the eye area because obviously dehydration can occur there. So you don't want to make it look worse by applying it there. It's right on the actual bone. So you can really see that I'm tapping away, giving you a mini massage, aren't I?
It's lovely.
And that just gives it beautiful radiant highlight. Obviously as well, by doing that, it contrasts from the shading, so it makes the cheekbone even stronger. So it's great for nighttime. If you're oily, I would avoid the centre, but if you want some extra sheen and highlight, it's also quite nice around the forehead area, even through the centre of the nose as well. Look up for me. And my last little dabs are just going to be right into the inner eye area. So the tear duct also looks brighter rather than having just a darker eye. So there you go. Once again, one product and about 7 areas. Very good. And the last thing is obviously lips. We've contoured, we've got shape, we've dressed up the eye colour's coming out, the brows are framing, the skin's dewy. We need to have a nice lip colour on. And today, I'm using a bit of a terracotta style shade. And I love the creaminess of the lipsticks, but I use my fingertip. If you apply lipstick with a bullet or a brush, it sits on top. When I use my fingertip, just open your mouth slightly, I actually press the pigment into the lip. By doing this, you're melting the pigment into the actual lip area and making it bond, almost staining the lip. Therefore, if you have a coffee or if you kiss someone, the lucky man, you actually won't get as much transfer. Whereas if you put lipstick on with a brush or just the bullet, it's sitting on top of the lip, never bonding into it. And this colour's great. It just gives a bit of warmth to the look. The eyes have that nice mango coolness to it with the plum eyeliner. So I thought, let's team it up with a nice, really Tuscany style lipstick. And also my ring finger is a curved fingertip. So it gives a beautiful rounded Cupid's bow. Then sometimes the lip liner can give a sharp look. Beautiful. And the other end of my cotton tip just cleans the edges. Beautiful. And once again, the illuminator cream, I love this on the lips as well, just to make the bottom lip or even the centre of the lip look bigger. Open for me. Just a little bit of the highlight as well and press together. Now the centre has a little bit of light on there. So therefore the centre of the mouth is the main area that makes the lip look plump. So that's fabulous. And just to finish off, a bit of the lipstick on the cheeks like that can really get a nice, warm, fresh, creamy blush. Don't forget the vitamin E in the lipstick is great for the skin as well. So why not use it as a cream blush? So now the apple of the cheeks look really fresh. It's matching the lipstick tone. So everything comes together very nicely. Beautiful.